I've never seen people so afraid. I've I've never known conservatives to be this nervous about speaking the truth. We are supposed to be constitutionalists, the American Constitution. We are supposed to be America first, America only. But apparently, in the conservative movement that I find myself being a part of, there is a rift, and there are two sides. There is the America First side that I'm on, but then there's the other side that is another nation first. And I don't, for the life of me, understand why there is such a hold on our politicians, our foreign policy, and our country. Why do they have so much control over our world? And I'll be honest, I'm going to do a correction. I did a story on Tyler Robinson, but even that day, I doubted all the details because they just didn't add up and it didn't make sense. But after these videos I'm going to show you today, I no longer believe Tyler Robinson was even involved. He couldn't have been. There's too many things that are not adding up, and the things that are making sense are going in a completely different direction. So I no longer believe Tyler Robinson had anything to do with this. I'll be honest, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of this other country. I'm afraid of their intelligence agency. I'm afraid of the fact that they have taken over Twitter and they want to take over X and they want to take over. They're taking over pretty much everything around us. And the last coordinated move to stop them in their global takeover that I can remember was something that happened in the 1940s and 30s. That was the last time they tried this. It's crazy. I'm actually afraid of a country. We all are. Listen to this.
Kirk's perspective on Israel was not starting to shift. It had shifted entirely. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright. Okay, Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore. Israel knew that. Turning Point USA knew that because Charlie was explicit. Why isn't Turning Point USA making any statements and shutting down this repeat attempt by Israel to lie and to pretend that towards the end, Charlie was just authoring love letters to Israel, giving them a perspective of here's how we can win. Here's what you guys need to do. You need to work with this Hillel, whatever it is. Yeah, the same people that are calling me anti-Semitic, you need to work with those people harder. Enough of the games, enough with trying to allow Israel to wrangle a narrative that you know is not true. Charlie did not die pro-Israel. He did not die for Israel. He did not martyr himself as a friend of Israel. In fact,
was Candace Owens the only person in Charlie Kirk's life personally that loved him? Because I don't see a fucking soul going this hard. I don't see one single person this passionate, this serious, this thorough, this involved, who cares this much to get to the truth about what actually happened to Kirk. No one seems to care except for people like me, people like Candace Owens. There are other investigators, people like Mr. Let Go. They've been doing the research. Nothing makes sense. In the video, something causes his shirt to pop up just like this. And then something grazes. It's like it grazes his neck. Boom! You see fluid shoot out. But when you go to the scene, there's nothing on the ground. There's nothing on the hands of the people that are apparently trying to stop the bleeding. They lift this man up. He's walking over gray colored concrete. There's not a single drop of blood anywhere on anyone. I remember I accidentally cut my finger one time. There was more blood dripping on my shirt and on the ground before I could stop my finger from a cut than there was from a wound that people want to convince me was a bullet. I say bullshit, but forget that part. Let's go over the facts. Now, this is Star-Lord Ziggy on X. I mean on TikTok. They're going to eventually ban this page, but before they did, I went ahead and did the legwork. I brought some of her videos, Ziggy's videos, to my personal page, and these are. I'm going to tell you a story without saying anything. One of the videos, they already put a community strikes guideline on, and I don't know why. But actually, I do know why. Listen to this.
But it goes to the point where, if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do. It's almost
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides.
This is only days before. Days. You got to think about it. Charlie Kirk, I remember arguing with people because I would say, oh yeah, I love his work. Oh, but he's pro-Israel. How are you a fan of his, but you're an anti-Zionist? I'm not going to be 100% with everybody, but I remember that some of Kirk's arguments, he's an extremely smart man, very logical, reminds me of myself because we're men of logic. But magically, when it came to this one topic about this one country, all logic goes out the window and your brain has to turn off and you put on blinders and you can't see anything. That's the only way you could move forward supporting this one country. And I always wonder how Charlie Kirk could do it because he seemed like such a smart guy. Magically, something shifted in him. And this country was so threatened by what Kirk's shift that they literally replaced him and removed him from the scene. He's gone now. Our hero, because he would go and talk to people who we never would speak to. And he would speak to them logically, and he would try to bring sense into them.
The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Like, I host a person that I moderate the debate of, mind you, right? And I give equal time to Josh Hammer. Equal time.
Josh Hammer, if you guys are wondering, works for TP USA as well. But he is extremely pro-Israel. He's Jewish, I believe, himself. And Charlie Kirk was just the moderator. Just for bringing on somebody just for moderating a debate between somebody that's pro-Israel and somebody who's anti-Israel, they started threatening this man's life. I didn't even know that they had donors that were giving them millions a year. But to keep the money, you had to be pro-Israel, and you could never speak foul or even platform somebody who was not using their particular talking points. It seems like Kirk just happened to never cross that line. I don't even think that he knew he could not question these people. He thought that he was an American, and being a nationalist, America first, a person. He thought he had constitutional protections, freedom of speech. Even he was surprised to find out that there was one country and one topic that was off limits, even for America, that even according to Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott, and our beloved President Trump, is the only thing that the freedom of speech clause in our First Amendment, it does not apply to. And that's just this one country that we all know that I'm talking about.
To a pro-Israel advocate, and my moral character is being put into question. And so I think it's a hyper paranoid, like we're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice.
It's like there's some rule you can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first, period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation, okay?
And that's what I believe as well. But I watched them kill him publicly. And this man, Josh Hammer, the day before Charlie dies, on his own X account on Twitter, he posts about public executions. He retweeted a post about public executions that Donald Trump had made from like 2013. He posted it on his X, and then the next day, Charlie Kirk is publicly executed, publicly assassinated.
That's
and
right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported, like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite, but my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions, not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages.
It's offensive to those of us who have been out there defending them in many instances against critics on our own side. And now you have a couple of comments like, well, what about this? Well, has it gone on too long?
The interview he's talking about with Dave Smith is the interview I'm going to play for you. Now, Josh Hammer is who Dave Smith was debating. This was on stage at a TPUSA conference not too long ago, right before they assassinated Charlie. Dave Smith destroyed. It's not hard to destroy somebody who's you're pro-Zionism, you're pro-ethnic cleansing, you're pro-violence and death and murder. It's not difficult to literally outwit these people. So what their claim to fame is we will buy all the platforms and we will silence you so that you can't speak at all. We will make it illegal for you to speak negatively about us. I've never known any other racial group in the world that was so coordinated with themselves. Like, they never splinter. They're always together. They protect each other. It's like they're one person.
Is Israel an ally of the United States?
No.
Do you say Israel is not an ally? That is not an opinion that people hear a lot. Why is that?
They have been constantly pushing America toward more aggressive policies, toward getting in more fights. And just like I always say, if you went out to the bar every single night with your friend, and every night your friend's trying to convince you to get into a fight, and while you're beating a lot of people up, you're also taking a lot of wounds, and you're going to jail, and you're getting in trouble, you got to stop hanging out with that friend. And so I think that you know what? I also don't believe in welfare, and they shouldn't get another dime of U.S. taxpayer money, and they should not. So hold on. Their lobby should register as a foreign
that's a good segue. Finish that.
And they should stop blackmailing our politics.
Got it. So back to Josh.
That's not even a new argument. There's a saying. If he just made that's a normal. That's something that's been around for 100 years. If you have a friend and you go to 190 different bars, and this friend gets kicked out of every single bar, do you go back and blame the bars or do you blame the friend? Everyone says historically they've been kicked out of 1,000 countries, they've never had a homeland, yada, yada, yada. So Dave Smith's not saying anything that's brand new, but I guess you're just not allowed to say it. And then you got people like Brandon Tatum, who is also normally logical guy, but and people think that his brain turns off when it comes to law enforcement. I disagree. Laws must be enforced. People who have an issue with authority don't like the fact that laws are necessary. However, when somebody breaks down how it works and you see it from the other side, then they think it takes they think that his brain turns off and he's pro police. There's nothing wrong with being pro police, but being pro another country that you're not even a part of their ethnic group, that takes the cake. Listen,
I don't like that the text messages were released, but let me just add this, because Andrew in the podcast said that this was the screenshot that he took.
Now, for one thing, Brandon, why would you not like the fact that these texts are being released? Who are you to not be a fan of transparency? If you were a true friend of Charlie Kirk, you would want all information to be put out there. You would want complete and 100% transparency when it comes to everything, any evidence, any text messages, any documentation. You would want to see any and all proof. No, according to him, he's not being paid by any group. He's not getting any money from AIPAC or anything. So why do you care in any direction at all? Are you doing this just for content? Like, why are you defending them? Why do you not want to? Why would you say something like you don't want transparency? You used to be in law enforcement. I thought you guys cared about the truth. That's why people are looking at him suspect. I guess they adjusted his voice because of, for copyright.
And disseminated to other people, which somehow this got in the hands of Candace Owens, and Candace Owens put it out on the internet. So it doesn't appear that this somehow came from Candace initially getting into the system and finding this stuff. It came from Andrew, who screenshotted this and sent it to somebody that ended up getting in the hands of Candace Owens.
Andrew calls himself one of Charlie Kirk's best friends, but even he's afraid. He's afraid for his life. When you get to the point that you're so desperate that you start doing public assassinations, when you already have a history of doing that and you're sloppy with it, that shows that you're not as strong as you might think. When you cannot persuade people to join your side, when you have to use physical violence and death just to get people to respect you, then that means you've already lost.
Or maybe he sent it to her directly. I don't really know. But let me give my thoughts on the existence of the text message, what I think, and then we're going to get to Andrew Kovit's response of the text message, and I want to play Rob McCoy's statement as well. I do not like this drama because Charlie Kirk cannot defend himself. He's dead.
There's nothing to defend. These are his words. There's nothing. He said what he said. You're going to have to defend the people that he's talking about. You're going to have to defend the people that had something to lose, the people that were threatening him, the people that were threatening to take money from him, the people that offered him money and he turned it down because that would mean he would no longer be able to speak the truth about the violence and about how what they're doing is morally and ethically wrong. And it goes against our beliefs as Christians. Charlie Kirk was not willing to stay quiet about that. Apparently, Brandon Tatum is. We all can get on Twitter and look at what they're doing to those people in the Gaza Strip. We all can see for ourselves and make our own decisions. We don't need you, even with or without these text messages, we believe what we believe. The difference between us and Charlie Kirk is that Charlie Kirk had a platform, he had an audience, he had a following. a strong following, a following apparently that this country that we're speaking of, that we shall not name, that this country needs.
So whether he liked Israel, didn't like Israel, whether he was going left, right, down the middle, none of it matters because he cannot defend himself and he's no longer with us. So,
and unfortunately, that's the ignorant thinking of a person who would be pro assassination. See, you think that if you kill someone, everything they have to say goes out the window and that it's over and they're gone. My friend, what you just did was immortalized him. It's been 5 years since Kevin Samuels died, and we are still quoting him to this day as if he was alive and well. Even Tupac, we're still listening to his music and quoting him. That does not, just because someone is killed or they're dead, does not mean this just goes away. That is an ignorant and an ill-informed take on someone who was assassinated. Martin Luther King was assassinated as well. So was Robert F. Kennedy and John F. Kennedy, and we still quote them till this day. That's what the whole word for martyr means. You turned Charlie Kirk into a martyr. He's never leaving. These text messages are now immortal, just like his other words. And these text messages prove that he decided that he was leaving the pro country we shall not name. He was leaving their cause. He was actually not was leaving. He's already left.
His strive to be in a certain position or take a political stance, it really is irrelevant at this point, unfortunately. And I don't like the leaking and screenshotting and sending information out on the internet into the ether, simply because a private message is a private message. And if a person who was on the private message wanted to be public, that person would have made it public.
This was a group chat. There were multiple people in this message thread. B. Tatum, what is wrong with you? You know, I used to respect. I remember when he first started. I was living in Arizona at the time too. And it was in 2020. I think he was still a cop. And he's screaming at the camera, and he was pro-Trump when everybody else was against him. And he was catching a lot of flack. But he was brave. He must be so afraid of this country that we shall not name that even he is afraid to speak up. You know, money is a terrible thing for certain people. Getting it is hard enough, but the fear of losing it will cause you to abandon all of your morals, all of your beliefs, and your moral compass will basically fail to function when you're afraid of losing money. I think that's where B. Tatum is right now. He's not being paid by Israel, but he's afraid that they'll come after him too. He'll be deplatformed, he'll be demonetized, and I think that's probably why he's running cover, so that they'll see the value in him and they might leave him alone. But if Candace Owens is afraid for her life to the point where she's setting up a dead man switch, where if something happens to her, all these documents go out to different reporters and different people, then we all should be afraid. If they could do this to Charlie Kirk in front of thousands of people and get away with it, then none of us are safe. And it's only a matter of time. But as Americans, are we good at living in fear of another nation? And I don't think we are. I don't.
And unfortunately, when you die, you don't have a choice to make it public or private. So that's why I think it should remain private. Did this have anything to do with who killed Charlie?
That's logically flawed. And yes, this does have something to do with who killed Charlie. This is literally the motive. These people were threatening Charlie because he had Tucker on his show. He had Dave Smith on his platform. They're threatening to take money. They did not want those people on there. This is what they call motive. Brandon Tatum, you used to be in law enforcement. This is what they call motive. We now have motive for why this country, this group, this people actually had motive to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Not saying they did, I'm just saying they have motive. These text messages prove they had motive. And actually, I'm probably going to click off from him because he's so ridiculous right now. I can't really listen to him and take him seriously. He has one more ridiculous statement to make that is nonsensical and illogical, and then we're moving on from Brandon Tatum, and I'm probably going to end up unfollowing him.
No. So any effort, in my opinion, to promote this as a thing or promote this as important is literally spitting on Charlie's grave, in my personal opinion. We shouldn't be wasting our time talking about stuff like this, but since it's out there, I got to say something about it. Okay. So let's get to the context of what it says.
You know what's funny? He's saying all this BS, but he's actually going to, it seems, I don't know, I haven't seen the video. It sounds like he's going to read the text messages that he's saying we should not read and that shouldn't be public, but he's going to read them anyway. He's playing both sides right now. I like it a little bit, but he's playing a dangerous, very dangerous game. I don't see him as being somebody, the things he's saying is not lining up with who we know him to be. As a man who was a friend of Charlie Kirk, of course you should, he knows what this, if he knows this is motive and he knows what these text messages mean. But let's see, he's going to read them out loud, and this is now going to immortalize these texts. These texts are going to now be immortalized. We're all going to know about them, and we're all going to make our decision on what to believe based on them.
Here, it appears that Charlie Kirk in his message says that, and this is authenticated. It's an authentic message. So this is not, somebody didn't fabricate this. This is what was said. Now, I don't think it has all the context because clearly it's just a few exchanges. Where's the rest of the messages at? Right. So what it says here, it says just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker Carlson. Let me address that real quick. I disagree with anybody that says that it was a problem that a Jewish donor decide to go in a different direction with their money after having an anti-Semite on stage at Charlie Kirk at Turning Point events.
It's a debate, and they're both Americans. I agree with Tatum though. As a donor, you can be mad and withdraw your money from whatever you want. But when everybody from this one group all collectively moves the same way, there's something fishy. It's almost like there's a hive mind. And is like when George, I remember George Carlin, he once famously said, "It's a big club and you ain't in it." I think that's what when you're from that country and you're one of those like one of those tapped in Zionists, they're a part of a hive mind. They're all one entity. It's just a big club, and the rest of us are just on the outside. That's why we don't get it.
This is not about if Charlie liked the guy or not. He could be friends with the guy all he wants. But when he's spewing anti-Semitism on stage and literally taking the next generation of young people in a bad direction, making them hate the government, making them question everything the government does.
You're supposed to question everything. You're not supposed to just take anything for face value. But also, who are you to say what is anti-Semitic? What does that even mean anyway? Who are the Semite? Who are the Semitic people? What is a Semite? And what makes somebody an anti-person? How can you be against? It doesn't. None of that makes even any sense to me. I could be wrong, but if anybody has a critique, please leave me a message if you can explain it. But I don't understand.
That's a problem. That's not what we need for the next generation. So if you are a donor and you're giving $2 million a year, and you got somebody on stage like this that's antithetical to the organization that you're supporting, I don't see there be a problem whatsoever with saying, well, I'm not spending my money in this way.
Whoa. What do you mean antithetical to the organization you're supporting? How is Dave Smith criticisms of this country in the Middle East? How can that be antithetical to the organization that is hosting them? Are you saying that that country itself is an organization and him questioning that country's actions is antithetical? I don't think Brandon Tatum understands what he's saying right now. I don't think if him and I had a conversation, he would be able to do this well. I think he's a smart guy, but, and that's the thing, he's a country boy. He's not necessarily somebody who you would expect to be this emotional or caring this much about this country that I don't think he's ever been there. Last I checked, he doesn't speak Yiddish. So what's his interest in it? We are Americans and we're capitalists. I think Brandon Tatum, in the back of his mind, in true black man fashion, is probably thinking to himself, shit, you can give me that 2 million. Shit, I'll take that 2 million and I'll dance around with a yarmulke on and go, yes, sir, Mr. Sir. That's what money will do to you. Money will do that to you. It depends on how much you value it. This is a man with a wife and kids. His wife's not trying to hear we went broke. He got mouths to feed. He's going to do what he has to do to keep money on the table. And if that means sell your whatever, you're going to sell it. He's going to sell the hell out of it. He brought up the $2 million. I think he's mentioned it a few times. In his head, he's like, shit, I do business with Turning Point. Y'all can give me 1 million. He wants, I think I'm starting to understand what his motive is and why he's saying all this. The money that the donors from Israel, from the country we shout out name, the money that was going to TPUSA from them, he wants that money to go to the officer Tatum store.com. He wants to take the place of CK and receive that money. And that's what Brandon Tatum's angle is, in my opinion. And this is coming from Rico Bobby. This is coming from the single boyfriend. I'm nobody. I make these videos. I have 9, 20, 30 people watching. And then people share these clips. But as far as I can tell right now, Brandon Tatum's angle is he wants to replace Charlie Kirk, where as far as the money he was receiving from these Jewish donors, if they don't feel comfortable giving the money to TPUSA, he's like, I'll be happy to take it and I will jump through whatever hoops for it. And I'm not mad at him. He's a capitalist. It's business. But, I mean, maybe Charlie wasn't really his friend.
And I don't know why anybody would get upset with that. Just find donors that want to do what you want them to do. Why would you get mad at donors who don't want to do the things that you said you were going to do for them? I'm my own man. I do all my own stuff. This is all my money going. So nobody can tell me nothing. And I ain't taking no money for nobody to tell me nothing. But if I were...
Brandon, shut the hell up. For one thing, your money comes from your clients and your customers and your fan base and people who donate to you. And they donate to you because you share their opinions. Don't lie to yourself. You work for the people that pay you. Don't lie to yourself, Tatum.
To say, well, let's have an investment or investors. And an investor says, okay, Brandon, I really like what you're doing, man. I like how you stand up for Israel. I like what you do for law enforcement. I like how you're conservative. And I want to give you $2 million a year for the next 5 years to help you build your platform and help you build your company. And then year 2, I start platforming people who are anti-Semitic. I start giving credence to people who are saying things that are antithetical to the mission in which the donor started or the investor started with me on. And the investor say, look, man, I don't want to invest in this anymore. Why am I going to get mad at him? Well, don't invest for me. I'll find another.
If you started off promoting a brand new company called, I don't know, Sonora Capital, and the people who like Sonora Capital are like, okay, we're going to give you $2 million a year. And then in year 2, you do a little bit of reading and you find out, holy crap, Sonora Capital also funds, I don't know, abusing children in other parts of the world that are orphans, and they were caught, people in the organization were caught trafficking kids, moving kids around or whatever. And you decided to speak out against it. But the company that's been giving you money, they're like, hey, what are you doing talking out against them? We were giving you money. You're saying you would still keep the message the same after what you found out? Charlie Kirk found out something, and he didn't like it. Charlie Kirk was a man of God. He found out something about this country that he might have just been blind to initially, but something he found out, it changed him, and he no longer looked at this country the same. It happens. It not what they say, to whom much is given, much is required. Once that knowledge was given to him, he could not ignore it. He was a family man himself with children. You can't ignore some of these things. You can't. I'm sorry, Brandon, things change. And if guess what? If this company gets mad that you don't want to do that with Sonora Capital because you found, then so be it. Leave. Did it sound like Charlie Kirk was going to lose when he sleep over these donors? He turned down 150 million. What does he care about 2 million? He had no problem. He was able to sleep at night. I don't know how Brandon Tate, I don't know if he's just in a mode right now, but I don't know how he doesn't get it.
That's what that believe in what I want to do now. Then it goes on, and Charlie Kirk says the key point that I think everybody is honing in on, and that's that it leaves me no choice but to leave the pro-Israeli cause. Now, let me tell you what it don't say. This does not say that Charlie Kirk don't support Israel anymore. It says,
will you shut the hell up? If somebody tells you I don't support the pro-Israel cause, that means I am no longer supporting that country. I'm no longer supporting them. That's exact. B. Tatum, what the hell are you smoking? That's exactly what that means. That's exactly what he said. That's what he's been saying. That's what got him assassinated. This is not just a weird coincidence in timing. There are no coincidences. This is a reaction to what he's saying. This is a reaction to him no longer wanting to be a part of that pro cause for that country. This is what I mean. B. Tatum, you're getting ridiculous. And I feel like I'm going to have to build a better studio, and I'm going to have to sit up here and counter, and I'm going to have to replace you when it comes to doing this type of content because you're going in a wrong direction. And this is a guy I like. I used to be inspired by him, but it's hard for me to take him seriously. And it sucks that it comes down to one thing, but why does everybody have a blind spot magically when it comes to this one country? Since when is that a normal occurrence for a human? You're a smart person by day, except when it comes to this one person or one country, you're just, come on, dude.
And that he's not going to put his neck out there and take the arrows that are coming his way, standing up for Israel and making it the main thing of what he's saying when he's defending Israel on campus.
He's no longer defending. Could you not read? Now you want to pretend. See, this is what people have a problem with. Charlie Kirk let it be known he's no longer was going to be supporting Israel. They literally replaced him with his wife and some new wannabe Charlie Kirk, and they are going to take TPUSA and return it back to being pro-Israel, even though that's going against Charlie Kirk's wishes. But they do a takeover, and Brandon Tatum doing it right now. They're trying to pretend that, well, he did. Yeah, he says he didn't want to do it, but he didn't say it the way you should say it. What the hell does that mean? He said he doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. What are you talking about?
Around the country. Now, I'm going to give my 2 cents. There is no donor. There is no pro-Israeli person that's going to make me change my position on supporting Israel because it's biblical. Unless the...
Bro, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Even if you're not taking money directly, you are definitely going to benefit from not being demonetized because you're on the wrong side. And then also some people just not saying nothing is not an option as well. Oh, if you're on YouTube, like the video, whatever platform you're on, share this content. I'm going to bring some more clips up. We're going to let them talk for a few more seconds, and then I have some other clips we're going to go through.
Bible change, I will never change my support for the state of Israel and its existence. I don't have to like anything Benjamin.
The state of Israel and its existence and Zionism is nowhere in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. It's not biblical. You read it, you're misinterpreting, you're twisting the words.
Who does, although I think that what he's doing in the war is reasonable. I don't agree with everything he's doing. I think he should have finished the job 2 years ago. Now,
finish the job. What does that include? To finish the job, according to Brandon Tatum and according to this country we shall not name, their military command and their government, to finish the job requires a complete ethnic cleansing. That means this other ethnic group who they have as prisoners in a 25-mile wide prison they must all be eradicated. They must all be deleted from the earth. That's finishing the job. This man is literally, in a roundabout way, calling for mass genocide, mass whatever you want to call it. He's calling for it. That's sickness. You know, when I saw people that were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, that's sickness. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when Hillary Clinton on video celebrated when she found out Gaddafi died. That's what really cost her the election. Not Donald Trump saying I'm gonna lock her up, not the hard drives. It was the fact that we all remember how she giggled like a schoolgirl when she was informed that someone had died, even if it's your enemy. I've had enemies. I've been to war against men, and I found out those men passed away. I never celebrated. I never once went out and had a drink and said, woohoo, it's a party. Death is a part of life, but death, there's nothing to celebrate. And it's a horrible thing that occurs, especially premature. So when this guy is celebrating death and these people are celebrating, you can't trust them. Hillary Clinton celebrated death, and that's why collectively as a country, we chose Donald Trump. Matter of fact, I remember when, what's her name? Judy Beth Ginsburg, his worst enemy, the one of the first Trump derangement syndrome people that was a judge. She hated Trump's guts. And when Beth Ginsburg, or I forgot her, I think it's her name, when he found out about that she died, he said, you know what? I'm sad to hear it. She was a good person. She was a great judge, and she will be remembered. He didn't chuckle and giggle and do his little dance. He didn't do any of that. There's different types of people. No one can respect people that celebrate other people's death or even promotes it. Promoting the death of an entire ethnic group and finishing the job, that's the equivalent of Hillary Clinton laughing when she found out Gaddafi had been killed.
Of course, it's easy for me to say sitting behind my desk in the United States of America versus being the president or prime minister of a major country, a country that's in the middle of conflict with just about everybody that's around. I would never change my stance. I don't care how much backlash y'all do. I don't care how much $7,000 messages y'all put in the chat. I laugh every time you put that in the chat. Do you think that bothers me that you say I'm getting paid $7,000? I don't bother me because ain't nobody paying me nothing. And to be honest, if they wanted to pay me to say stuff I'm already saying, where can I find that check? I'm going to give a bonus to.
Culturally, it's going to always come down to the money with certain people. That's just, I'm not going to say it's necessarily just because of his culture. It's kind of an American thing. Maybe that's why they have such a hold on us or over our people. But it's embarrassing though. This is just like, when it comes down to seeing little children being blown up, and you're worried about the dollars and cents hitting your account so you can keep your house and your cars. I mean, it's just, you just value life different. Yeah, we're not seeing the kids getting blown up right here in America, but we know what's happening. We were able to see the footage. And what he's basically letting it be known is that he's willing to say whatever you need him to say, as long as you keep that money in there, and he's not worried about it at all whatsoever. Heartbreaking.
Every single person that worked for me, every $7,000 check I get, that's what I would do if they were to give me some money. They ain't give me no money. That's why I ain't got to be mad at nothing. Y'all can keep saying that old weirdo stuff. I'm going to keep growing. My company's going to keep growing. We're going to keep succeeding. The Lord is going to keep blessing. So,
yeah, Tatum, you're talking way too much, my friend. You're speaking too far in advance. The Single Boyfriend, like and subscribe, share the videos. This is Matt Gaetz. He actually was almost our attorney general. Let's listen to what Matt Gaetz was saying on Timcast earlier today.
Initially, act that there was no appreciation for nuance. Like if you asked any questions about any decision of the Israeli government in any place regarding settlements, regarding Gaza, whatever, you were like, you had deviated from the script. And I just, in any policy area, I had resentment over that. And then I saw the way the AIPAC worked, and that was weird for like a country lawyer like me. I remember my first AIPAC.
AIPAC. Ted Cruz, AIPAC. I guess this is probably why they wanted to shut down TikTok, because you can kind of search stuff quickly. This is what Ted Cruz thinks of AIPAC. Ted Cruz, AIPAC, Tucker Carlson. Who the fuck are all these weirdos, and why are they showing up? Okay, here we go.
I'm only trying to get to the question of what AIPAC is, and I don't think you're being straightforward about it. AIPAC is lobbying on behalf of the interests of a foreign country, and they're not registered. And you're saying, no, that's not true. You're saying that they don't coordinate with the Israeli government.
Of course, I coordinate. They talk with them. I don't know what they do.
But why don't you care? Isn't it?
How do you not know what the people who give you money every year do? Speaking of Timcast, they were saying that this one company called Tenet Media was actually getting money from the Russian government, and they were trying to indict them. And they were saying, oh, you should have did your research into where their money. It's a media group. They do all types of media. I don't know if they're getting money from different companies. I don't know their inward workings, but yet they were being held accountable for it, and they were smeared in the media for not knowing. How are you a person getting money from a company and you don't know what they do? How do you not know how AIPAC works? And they're the strongest lobbying firm for a foreign country that's not even registered as a foreign company, a foreign entity. So there's laws against that they skirt. How do you not know what they do, but you take their money and you know people that work for them? You guys have never had a conversation to say, so how do you guys work? What do you do? You're not curious? I'm with Tucker. Maybe that's why eventually I'm going to be someone who's doing these type of interviews, because I have questions and I'm not for sale, but also my curiosity outweighs my desire to buy a Lamborghini.
Meaningful if a foreign government.
Hey, I talk with Israel all the time. I talk with foreign countries all the time.
But the law is, and a lot of people have been prosecuted under this law, that if you are lobbying on behalf of foreign government, you must register. That's it. It's really simple. And I don't know why, if I'm working from Malaysia or Qatar or Belgium, and I'm working on behalf of its government's interests through a group of Americans who are representing the friendship between those two nations, I have to register under the Foreign Agent Registration Act. And if I don't, I can go to jail. And people have gone to jail, including people I know. Okay. So I don't understand why we don't just be honest.
The Foreign Agent Registration Act is the FARA. So when you hear somebody talk about FARA laws, it's about registering your company as a foreign agent registration, meaning that you're working on behalf of a foreign nation when you're dealing with our government.
And say they're lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. They're coordinating with the government. You know that that's true.
That is not only not true, that is false.
They're not coordinating with the Israeli government. I've never taken money from the Israel lobby. Have you?
Taken money from the Israel?
From AIPAC.
So AIPAC raises a lot of money for me.
Here, I love Tucker. He's asking him about AIPAC. And we just got done letting Brandon Tatum spew his bullshit about AIPAC. But let's see what Ted Cruz. Why doesn't Ted Cruz know anything about AIPAC, but he's getting money from them? Why does everybody's brain turn off magically? Like, he's not walking into traffic, he can give speeches, but when it comes to this one country, his brain just malfunctions. What's going on?
But it's actually a
Israel lobby. Have you?
Taken money from the Israel?
From AIPAC.
So AIPAC raises a lot of money for me, but it's actually a misnomer because the people who raise money are individuals. Right. So it's not the PAC itself, but they're individual members who believe in the American-Israeli friendship
and
relationship. Is
AIPAC a foreign lobby?
No, it's an American lobby. It's the AIPAC stands for the America-Israeli Political Action Committee.
What does it lobby for?
So, to be honest, not a whole lot effectively. Listen, I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Great.
And I've worked every day to do that. AIPAC, a lot of times, AIPAC, I wish were much more effective. Like,
you're a senator from Texas. Why in Sam Hill is lobbying to help another country in the Middle East? Why did he not say that? Am I hearing things?
Stands for the America-Israeli Political Action.
What does it lobby for?
So, to be honest, not a whole lot effectively. Listen, I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States.
Why was that your stated intention, to be the leader of protecting Israel in the United States? Why? How do you develop an interest in that out of the blue? You're from Texas. You're not even Jewish. How does one magically become how does that become one's stated goal, and why? I wish Tucker would have said, why is that your stated goal? Let me type that in the comments on this thing. Why is that Ted's stated goal? Exactly. It's you got to follow the money. It seems like this is all about money, but it has to be something deeper.
13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate. And I've worked every day to do that.
Why are you working every day to defend interests, to defend this country? Why in the hell? What's going on?
AIPAC, a lot of times, AIPAC, I wish were much more effective. Like, there are folks online who are in the fever swamp of terrified of AIPAC, and AIPAC.
I'm not terrified of AIPAC at all. You're the one who seems a little uncomfortable when I'm asking.
No, not uncomfortable at all.
I'm just asking what AIPAC does. My understanding, having known a lot of people who work at AIPAC, is that it lobbies on behalf of the Israeli government.
Wrong.
Oh, okay.
It's
when was the last time AIPAC took a position that deviated from Prime Minister Netanyahu?
All the time.
Name one.
Okay. Let me go back and give a little history. If you want to do a deep dive on AIPAC,
I don't. I want to do a shallow dive that gets. No. I want to get to the core question. AIPAC is lobbying for a foreign government, and I don't. It's not. It's lobbying for the United States.
It is lobbying for a strong U.S.-Israeli relationship.
Okay, so it's not has nothing to do with the foreign government.
It wants America and Israel to be closely allied.
Okay,
This was unfreaking believable. So that's the level that we're dealing with of the mental gymnastics we have to play with people about this country. You know, it's funny. Like a year ago, there was like some kind of Israeli leaders had a summit, and they just said something ridiculous out of the blue. And they said something about they have major problems with the young black generation in the United States. What an odd thing to say. Why would you, a foreign country, care about what blacks in America are saying? And I'm noticing I don't see Asian Americans. I don't see others, Latino Americans besides myself. I don't see a bunch of people speaking out and asking questions about Charlie. Everyone, except for a few people, and a lot of them happen to be black, are the only ones literally still asking questions. And you know, Myron Gaines is black, Andrew Tate's black, and these are the people they were blaming now for why they lost the election. I'll give you an example.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community.
We don't control our country. The Zionist state does.
Can we get out of this? Yes, we can. We're pretty good at...
Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago.
Like intelligence. We still bullshit.
Such a weird thing. And then I look and I'm like, okay, Candace Owens, black. Myron Gaines, black. Andrew Tate, black. Mr. Let Go, black. Then you got somebody like me who, a very small audience that's growing, and I do appreciate you guys' support. But we don't mind talking. We like to talk. And here I am, out of the blue, coming out of the ashes, working my way up gradually, learning how this all works. And I'm starting to understand why they said they're having a problem with us, because no one else is going to do it. No one else cares. Like, everybody else is afraid. And I guess the spirit of fear isn't really our thing, just because, we literally live in environments where you get shot just going to the grocery store. You might go to a party that's going to get shot, going to the club, but you still go. So you're not really afraid of death. You're not afraid of dying. You're not afraid of a lot of things. So it makes it hard for you to intimidate. That's why I think that's probably why they're noticing that there's a problem. But look at Candace Owens.
He knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7.
Like the video, please. Share the video. Get other people to tune in. This is important. Everybody needs to see what's happening to our country. I'm deathly afraid for our country. For all I know, now that I'm looking at all of this, for all I know, we've already lost our country. If our president, if we find out Trump is compromised by this other country and they control him, and we find out that they've penetrated our cabinets and our senates, and they have AIPAC, which lobbies and gives money to all these different politicians, then our country's gone. We don't have a country. We have a subsidiary of this other nation, and whoever controls them, because they don't have the same ethics laws that we have, so we don't know who controls them. But what scares me the most is that there is a war, a proxy war happening against this country, and the other side that's fighting them is the World Economic Forum. That's why you see the pressure. That's why you see the money behind these Free Palestine for years now. It's all coming from the World Economic Forum. They're both, the World Economic Forum and Israel, or the Zionists, they're at war. They're fighting each other. But what they're doing is they're fighting over the United States' arsenal. It's like the United States is the girlfriend, and this country and the World Economic Forum are the 2 boyfriends, and they're duking it out over the girl. They want the girl. The United States is the girl. And I see that the World Economic Forum it seems like they're not making very many moves, but for this country to be so desperate that they would do this to Charlie Kirk, Kirk could have made a U-turn. He could have started leaning towards being anti-Israel, but then he could have had an awakening one day, changed his mind, and got back on board. They didn't even give him a chance. He stepped out of line. He wasn't going against Israel for years. I mean, I'm talking about a matter of weeks that he had this awakening. This is a matter of weeks, not months. This is just this year that he had this awakening. Somebody asked him to read something, look into something. He did, and it changed him. They didn't even give him a chance to change back. They gave him an ultimatum. You get down or lay down. And if you lay down, you're going to stay down. That's what they told Kirk. I can see why they have a problem with people that look like me.
For now, to be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. in my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat. Okay. He knew, and others knew.
This is amazing. This is amazing. This is groundbreaking. This is groundbreaking. And we all need to pay attention to this. We all should be deathly afraid of the Zionists, but we all should pay attention to what Candace is saying. She's making the sacrifice of a life. She's a woman with children. She's a mother. And I'll be honest, in my personal opinion, Charlie Kirk was the love of her life. Her and Charlie would have been married by now if they, in my opinion, the Zionists and maybe even Trump, they sent Erica Kirk into his life. And she derailed whatever plans Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens would have had in the future. She was supposed to be his wife, not Erica. But now you start, everything about Erica looks like she was planted there. And she is completely putting TPUSA back into the pockets and back on track to supporting Israel at any expense. It's a shame. We're losing. We've already probably lost our country and we just don't know it. These videos, that's why I'm playing these videos, they're telling a story. And when you rewind this video from today, you're going to see that I don't have to say much. These stories are going to tell themselves.
Told me off record. 2 people, 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, you know, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him? Now, to give the obvious answer to federal informant Nick Fuentes' question, the reason that I waited to reveal the text messages is because I'm not a child. Okay. Like I said, I have a lot more. I'm not an idiot, and I have self-control, and I understand that time is always going to be on the side of truth. Time is on the side of truth. Liars know that that's the reality. Liars know that they have to speak quickly, that they have to speak repeatedly. And I wanted the world to truly understand just exactly what it is that we are up against. Okay. People that I deem to be mentally and spiritually evil. Okay. Evil in the true essence of the word evil. People who knowingly lied, instantly lied, repeatedly lied, and continued to do so without a trace of shame. Okay. Without a trace of shame. I mean that, right? I really do mean it when I say that you have to be someone that is, or maybe rather someone that is possessed by something that is less than human, subhuman.
I'll be honest, when she talks about, you know, when I said that this group from this other country, it seems like they behave like they're a part of a hive mind. Like, for example, when you say they make a less than a less than 0.5% of the population of the country, but they make up more than 50% of all of our billionaires. That shows a level of coordination. But humans just naturally have never successfully been able to coordinate that well together because they usually branch off, they have different interests. But this particular group, they seem to defy all odds, like they work like a part of a hive. But is it a hive mind? Is it a spiritual hive? For everybody, like I meet people that are brothers and sisters that are from the same family. You can have 4 children, and all 4 of your kids will be completely different. Imagine having 4 kids and they're all on the exact same page and wavelength and they work in sync with each other. They can go to different countries, coordinate with each other. That's not natural. It's like there's something wrong. There's something here, and they don't want you to talk about it too much because eventually you will figure out that there's something going on that you didn't know about. There's something happening, and I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what's. We all should be afraid. I put it that simple. Because if they lose, you know how it is when you're fighting over a girl. What do some of these guys say? They say, well, if I can't have her, no one will. So if they can't win, if they don't win this fight over the United States, what will they do to us if they don't get us? If they lose to the World Economic Forum? But that's the other thing. We know at least this country we can't speak of, at least the Zionists, at least that's the enemy we know. If they're uprooted and replaced with the World Economic Forum and the technocrats and those people that want to bring in that new world of basically technocratic communism, that's a new enemy. So do we swap out the enemy that we know for a new enemy that we don't know? And you got to decide which one's the lesser to eat. Like we're getting into. That's why I'm going to go on someone else's live and we're going to talk about this. Sometimes me talking about this alone, I really do want to bounce ideas off of other people. But there's something that's happening right now, and this country is deathly afraid of losing us to the point that they would do a public assassination of Charlie Kirk. I mean, I never thought I would be saying those words, but yet here I am. And this woman, Candace Owens, yes, she's married now with kids, but you can tell she loved Charlie. She loved this man so much. I remember I used to watch them together and their chemistry, and I could tell they were in love. And I was like, man, that must be a great. You meet a woman, and you guys are on the same wavelength, and you know she's beautiful and she's smart. And that's hard to find. And then you know what happens when he's dealing with Candace Owens? They throw a curveball at him called Erica. I'm gonna let her finish, and we're gonna go check that out.
Human to do that. There's no humanity in you. That is why I named Josh Hammer. I believe he is a deeply disturbed man. Think about that. Now that you have those messages, okay, let's put this in the context. Just a few hours before I dropped that text chain, Josh Hammer was concerning himself with what he's been doing since Charlie caught the bullet in his neck. He has been spreading lies, saying that Charlie never flinched on Israel, right? Charlie never flinched. Oh my God, these people like Candace, they're lying. 48 hours before Josh Hammer was on that text thread.
Now, do I think Bibi called Josh Hammer and told him to deny what? No. That's the thing. I don't think someone's telling them what to do, but they're all moving in sync. Like there is a connection, whether it's a mental hive mind, there's something that's connecting all of these people from this group, and it blows my mind. I don't get it because it's not normal. The rest of us humans don't share it. We don't. Don't get me wrong. I see a lot of black people, they call everybody racist. I'm like, who's telling you to call everyone the same? How are you guys all coming out with the same determination? Everything's racist. I see that sometimes and I think I get hive mind vibes. But this right here with this country, it's even more hive mind than that. It's even more.
That did not stop him from keeping up the propagandist effort when he went on a show yesterday before I dropped the messages and said this.
Charlie was a close friend of mine, as you know. We actually spoke literally the night before his tragic and untimely death. I was on a small Zoom call with him.
Man, that guy looks like his people. Doesn't he? Like, he looks like his middle name is Mossad. Everything about this dude looks like if you look up his country, a picture of him shows up. Like that's his first and his last name. Like that's exactly like that's it's crazy, but he literally looks like the epitome of what his people like. It's like the genetics are, I mean, pure genetics, pure his country. That's an understatement. Like, to make him look like this. And typically when there's, I don't want to talk about that. I'm not going to bring up practices on, mating and breeding and all that. We'll talk about that on when I specifically I'm only on Rumble. We'll talk about that. But let it finish.
Couple others. We were literally talking through this topic. I was giving Charlie advice for how to message on this issue on his forthcoming campus tour. He kind of jokingly mentioned to me, he was like, Josh, I'm going to mention your book, Israel and Civilization, and it's so good. And that was literally our last conversation. It's just so tragic. This letter that he wrote to the prime minister.
He kind of has a little bit of Shapiro voice too. Isn't that weird? The like when he speaks at the very end of whatever he's saying, he sounds like Shapiro. If we're living in a simulation, right? This group is what we would call a glitch in the matrix. Or this group is of the matrix and the rest of us are just drones that they harvest our heat from our bodies and they keep us suspended in this reality and they're just living off of us. That's the only other explanation I can come up with.
Chris, I read back in June or July or so, and there were so many people in the aftermath of his horrific assassination, Candace Owens, folks like that, who were saying that, Charlie was turning on Israel. He was ready to sell them out and renounce his life's work of sincere and genuine friendship with the Jewish people and the Jewish state. But this letter that he wrote to Bibi Netanyahu, Chris, literally begins. The first sentence of the letter is, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's a close paraphrase. As a Christian, one of my greatest joys in life is making friendships with the Jewish people and defending the state of Israel. That's literally the opening sentence of this letter.
You guys don't hear Ben Shapiro when you hear him speak? Literally, he could work for the Daily Wire. He could literally stand at a podium and just speak. He sounds like exactly like Ben Shapiro. But maybe he's not in front of the camera all the time, like Ben Shapiro, because when you look at him, you see what a stereotypical guy from his country would look like. With Ben Shapiro, you're like, yeah, he could be from there or he could be from Boston. But there's no way in hell Josh Hammer is from anybody's Boston. He's not from Wisconsin. He's not a cheesehead. You know exactly. You can look at Josh. What's his name? What was his name? Josh what? Let me see. Josh Hammer. What? I don't think that's his real name. It sounds like his porn name. Josh Hammer. I bet his name is Josh Balkowitz or Josh, something with an S. Definitely something with an S. Definitely not like his last name is not Hammer. Maybe Schultz or something like that. But I don't know what Josh Hammer's real name is, but I doubt his last name is Hammer.
Filth. Okay? Absolute filth. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. Whatever that is that lives in him does not live in me. There's no truth in him. Obviously, there's no truth in Josh Hammer.
Because they're not, whatever he is, whatever they are, if we're all humans, there must be different types of humans. Maybe there are different species of humans. Maybe there are different humans that, even though we all look similar, we have something genetically different in our brains or inside of us, but we all can't be the same. Think about it. There's like 300 different variations of grasshopper. There's not just one grasshopper. There's all different types of grasshopper, but yet we just happen to believe there's just one type of human. What if there are different types of humans? I see people every day that I'm thinking, I swear they're NPCs. There's no way this person is like me. I live in the real world. Every day I have to put things together. I have to work. I build. I can't just zone out and just veg out and just fly off into the ether and still be alive. No, I have to do things to build. There are people that are still out here and I'm like, well, what is this person? What's making them? I don't get it. I think there's different types of people. I really do believe that. And she's right, because whatever's in him is not in her and it's not in me. But I'm noticing a pattern amongst people that look like me. But only certain people that look like me, not the ones that you're watching on World Star Hip Hop. I'm talking about me and Candace, Myron. I can't even put B. Tatum on that list, but maybe he is on the list. I'm not going to write him off completely because anybody can change. He can have an aha moment the way Charlie did. I just don't know if B. Tatum can afford to have it, because now that he's been making more money, when you get used to the money, you can't take the money away. That's the hard part. Once you get addicted to it, it becomes a part of your genetics. It becomes a part of your DNA, like heroin. You can't kick the money. You need it. So, but there's just something in us that's not buying what he's saying because it's not true. I remember the first time I went to a mosque with my brother when I was a little kid. And the guy that was talking, he was saying a bunch of stuff that was factually true. And I was a little boy. And I was like, and I felt like a spark, something warm in my chest. And it was like, and when I got outside, I told my brother, I was like, man, when that guy was talking, I felt something like, and he was saying that when you hear something that's true, it's I think he said something like, truth is the word of God. And there's God in the word, and then there's a piece of God in you. And when you hear truth, then that spark in the truth and the spark that's in you, they connect. And then that's when you get this feeling. I don't know if everybody gets that feeling. I do. That's why I want to talk to people more, and that's why I'm doing this. This isn't my normal life. Nobody in my personal life would ever believe that I'm sitting here making videos, reading the news, talking about, this is nothing like my typical regular character. I'm a party guy. Party. I kick it. I don't, this was, I was doing animal rescue just for fun. People didn't believe I did that. But just when I get, it's like I'm addicted to hearing the truth. I want to hear more of it. And I want to speak it to people if possible. That's why I try to talk to everybody. Candace is right again. We got to protect her at all costs.
He could have said, oh, Charlie was going through 48 hours earlier. Yeah, he refused to do that. And in fact, I'm quite alarmed with what I know that there are 3 people who said that Charlie communicated 24 hours before he died that he thought they were going to kill him. Now I find it rather alarming that Josh Hammer is similarly saying, oh, the night before. So you spoke to him the night before. Did he communicate that to you, Josh Hammer? Did he? I'm interested. I know we won't get answers from you, but let me promise you that if I get a text message to the effect that you were somehow involved in him feeling anxiety the day before, if you did something that gave him anxiety in that way, I will release it instantly. There will be no place that you can hide.
That gave me chills. And I'll be honest, it makes me emotional, and it brings, like, man, the reason The reason it brings tears to my eyes is because most of us will never know love like this. She's a woman. She's not crying right now, but she just threatened another man about the man that she loved. Even though that's not her husband, she loved Charlie Kirk. A lot of us look to him as, I mean, he was a guiding light, and we admired him because he was willing to do what a lot of us wouldn't do, which is go talk to people on the other side and try to give them guidance. But sometimes you want to make sure you're giving the right advice. He was well read enough where he knew what to say. He didn't stutter. Some people struggle with that. She loved them. She loved Charlie Kirk so much, and that's why everybody's afraid of her. His own wife, his legal wife, is moved on already. She doesn't care about Charlie. She's not talking about Charlie. She's already gone. She's gone on to her next mission. She moves like an agent. Everything about her says agent. Candace actually loved him. That's why they had to get her away from him. That's why they brought her in a year and a half after Charlie and Candace had met and had been dealing with each other. They sent Erica in there to block Candace out. See, this is when a real woman loves you. You want to know what fake love looks like? This is what fake love looks like right here.
I'm not going to be able to focus sitting this close to him.
You ready? Performative. Women don't obsess and drool over the man that they're with. Women obsess and drool over the men that they want, not over the men that they have. This is not genuine. This is not real. This is scripted. This is her job. She is an agent. She's an agent. This is not real. Nothing about this is authentic. Now, this is after they become engaged. You don't stare and gaze. This is when somebody is your target. This is when you're being paid to love a man. We all have known women like this. They have something they want from us. Women are very goal-oriented. This is how women have survived for 100,000 years. They find men, they latch on, and we take care of them. But then there are other times where another man controls a woman and he can send that woman to another man and put her on him in his life, like a Jenny Bezeret from the movie Dune, where they can influence you, they whisper in your ear, they can guide you and tell you what to do. But the whole time they're playing you for another man. Like in the movie Casino, like you've seen this countless times. The husband passes away, the wife is married within a month. There was always another man there. Charlie's even confused by her behavior. It doesn't make sense. I see you every day, but you're pretending to be so in love with me. You're a beauty pageant winner from that used to do beauty pageants. You traveled the world. You used to live in Romania, and you had a nonprofit that they're trying to link to of moving children around. And you were kicked out of Romania after owning your own nonprofit, after being a beauty that was doing worldwide pageants, and then all of a sudden you show up in Arizona asking for an internship. But then after that, you go to the Hamptons. If you have money to go to the Hamptons, your mom works in tech for some defense company. Your dad used to work for Raytheon and the government, but yet you need an internship for TPUSA. Somebody put her here. She was sent to him. Look at how she behaves now. Look, this is not real. This is real. Candace Owens is real. That's real love. With Candace Owens, how she's talking to the camera about finding out who did this, that's real love. This is not real.
Hello. I'm not going to be able to focus looking right at you.
You're not sitting across from Brad Pitt. What do you mean you're not going to be able to focus looking at him? But guess what? If she had a chance to sleep with Brad Pitt and did, the next day she would not do an interview and say, I can't sit across from you. She would say that the day before, but now you've had Brad Pitt. You're not going to still say that again. This is after they've been seeing each other for This is after they've been together for a little while, only a few months. This is performative. This is all a show. This is the Truman Show around Charlie Kirk. Now it's the Erica Kirk Truman Show.
I'm just going to be staring at you.
Hello.
Wow.
Ready, Terrell?
Hold on.
We're rolling?
We're not.
All right, you'll be switching? All right, I'll count it down.
Wait.
They sent a beauty queen to a guy that's probably never had any luck with women in his life. Her attraction to him, there's nothing about it that's natural. He wasn't even rich at the time. This is all performative. Mark my words, this is all going to eventually come out. Videos like mine are going to go into the human aspect of it because I study people, because I deal with people, I talk to people, I've lived, I'm still living. So that's where my angle, everybody else is talking about the ballistics, we're talking about all the connections and all the politics of it, and I do all three. But I'm going to also focus on the human aspects of how fake all of this is. And it's even confusing to Charlie. Charlie doesn't understand what the hell her problem is. She's putting on a show. And now she's on to her next assignment. I won't say MK Ultra, but it's something like it. She's a soldier. In the movie, the Bene Gesserits, that's what they were called in the movie Doom.
I'm kind of nervous, you guys.
She's nervous, which is why we must get going.
That's not Brad Pitt. That's not George Clooney. It's Charlie Kirk. Not a horrible looking guy, but even he doesn't understand why a world-renowned model that used to win pageants that Donald Trump used to host, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? He could have had a woman of substance, a woman with brains and beauty, but he went to a blonde-haired beauty that he was thinking maybe is too good to be true, or maybe God sent her. That's how people like us think. We think maybe God sent her. They get us every time like this. It's a honeypot operation. And guess what country likely sent her? They train kids. They train people to be weapons. They train you to be operatives, to collect data. What do you think a spy is? What do you think a spy? You think spies are born into this? They're trained to know. And people have said that. You can say that about certain people. I speak multiple different languages. If I was just in your country all of a sudden, and I'm posing up to this person and that person, and I'm just happy-go-lucky and smiling for no reason, if you would be like, maybe Rico's spying on somebody, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't even be mad at you. It would just be a little bit too good to be true. It's all a show. It's a big club. And unfortunately, we're not in it. And unfortunately, Charlie wasn't in it. Poor Charlie wasn't in it.
All right, we ready?
No.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Charlie Kirk Show.
You're going to have to do it again.
She's pretending to be, oh my God, you're so innocent and so happy. Oh. This is all a show. Look up Erica Kirk, Romanian Angels. Go to your phones and look it up. Erica Kirk, Romanian Angels. I wonder when Charlie found out about her past. Is that why they pulled the trigger on Charlie? Is this what something? Yeah, this new revelations triggered it, but maybe it was just an avalanche and it all hit at once. I'm talking about those text messages. He was gone within 48 hours. But look at her. She was already doing a speech about him a couple of days later. She's not even crying. Well, you got to watch those videos. I did a video about it yesterday. You'll see the clips in my shorts too. You have to watch it.
Introduce yourself.
Is that what you're going to say?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Charlie Kirk Show. I'm engaged.
She's whispering to him, "You're so handsome." I've been engaged. I have girls that I'm dealing with, that I'm friends with, that have been Team RICO for over 10 years. Everything I do, they watch, they listen, they love. And I ignore them most of the time, but we're still friends. They don't even they don't act like that with me. That's not how women act in nature. This is how women act when they're actresses on a movie or on a TV show, when it's brand new, not after you've been with somebody for a while. Most women, especially even when you're engaged or when you're married, they hate their husbands after a while. And that's how relationships go. You fall in and out of love. Think about it. I'm not hungry right now, but earlier before I ate, I was starving. It comes and goes. That's how love is. It comes and goes, just like hunger. It's a fleeting feeling, you know? It flees. None of this is real. None of this is real. Candace is real. This is fake.
Would you like to introduce yourself, or should I introduce you? How would you like me to start? All right, we'll try it again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Charlie Kirk Show. Joining me is the most special guest, my fiance, Erica. Welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show.
I'm pretty sure she already knew what his fate was going to be, even in this interview. She knew it was going to be temporary, and she was the best actress she could be. We're going to finish this episode off by we're going to let Matt Gaetz finish speaking about AIPAC, since we did that dive and went and talked about it. We let Tucker and Ted give us some insight, but now we're going to let him finish, and then I'm going to end this episode. I'm going to go have some tacos and flirt with somebody, and I'm gonna go back on live in a few hours, but let's finish it off with this.
And like your fundraiser tells you have to go, and your chief of staff tells you have to go, your committee chairman all tell you have to go. And you get there and you wear this name badge, and I remember there's a QR code on it. And what you were supposed to do was go talk to donors, and then if they liked you, they scanned your QR code to make a donation, like on the spot. So can you just imagine how demoralizing that is, to like be told that your job for the next several hours to go chat people up, hoping they would scan you like a can of tomato soup on the way out of the meeting.
I mean, it's and literally purchasing.
Right. And so I saw that and I was like, wow, that is so freaking weird. And then, I was in Israel. I went multiple times, and I did not like the fact that I found someone in my room rooting around in my stuff that should not have been there at the King David Hotel when I came back to my room when no one was expecting me to be back in my room. And I just
presumably Israeli law enforcement.
Well, I don't know who it was. I just thought, like, this is weird. All of these things combined are odd, and then the policy.
Wait, you were in Israel at the King David Hotel. You come back to your room early, and there's some random stranger rummaging through one of our American politicians' his luggage and his stuff, and he's just kind of glossing over. Like, what are you insane? Should nobody be in your room going through your stuff?
The outgrowth seems to be an obsession about the Middle East that has not served my generation well. I just don't. Initially,
it's a big club, and we're not in it. This is what true love looks like.
Charlie Kirk's perspective on Israel was not starting to shift. It had shifted entirely. About 48 hours before Charlie.
I wanted to end on that note, but this video right here that they're saying community violation, there's nothing community violation. It didn't violate anything, but they will not let me play it for you. And what it was a video about Candace Owens talking about how the dead man switch that she came up with. So let me just play that video on our way out. Candace Owens, dead man switch. Let's see here. See, there are other people play it, but not me.
I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me, trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us, to sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real. Okay.
Now, mind you, this is the video that I shared, the exact same video. I downloaded and shared it on my page, and I was given a community guidelines violation, and I'm appealing it right now. This video that's playing right here, I copied it, put it on my page, flagged.
I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary. And I highly recommend every single person that is out there, that has a platform and is going through things and is scared, do the same. Send everything around to about 8 people that you trust. And I mean, I arranged it. I sent it to journalists, text messages, and screenshots to people ranging from Max Blumenthal to Andrew Tate. They won't know where it's coming from. But I went ahead this week and said,
we're in dangerous times right now. We're in uncharted waters, but we do know that the people we're fighting are willing to do anything and everything to keep their position and keep their power and keep their control. We're not even fighting the left anymore. We're fighting against the people that are above the left and the right. The people that how they always tell you there's basically we're 2 wings of the same bird. Now we're fighting the actual bird and the beak. The wings are one thing. We're actually fighting the beak. What happens if you knock the head off of the bird and you're part of the wings? What happens then? Or what happens if the bird decides it doesn't want if I can't have both wings, I don't want no wings, and the bird crashes and it self-deletes. Guess we're going to find out. Like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back on in a couple hours. This has just been heavy. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again shortly. I didn't play I didn't do the sponsor in the beginning because of what this video talks about, but I appreciate the sponsor, cosigning.com. I thank you for still, funding these videos. I really do appreciate you guys. If you're looking to move and you need an apartment or a house and you don't have a friend or a family member willing to co-sign for you, cosigning.com is the network, and they will connect you with a qualified co-signer that will get on your lease with you to help you get approved for your place. And you're pretty much paying them to take the risk. So that's the beauty of it. It's mutually beneficial. There's a lot of people I've met that they were looking to move, but they couldn't move because they didn't have someone willing to do this in their family, and they didn't have any friends willing to. So now you don't have to put a strain on your relationships. You can just hire a co-signer. They'll jump on with you. So thank you very much.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com.